parted from sorrowless bliss, and may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred. So our theme for this morning, or for people in the US for this morning, for people in India this evening, just our theme for this moment, let's put it like that. Our theme for this moment is really courage. And it is the courage to really reclaim our true nature, to really reclaim the knowing of our true essence as Buddha nature. You can
I just let her know that she'd frozen, so.
I unfroze, I think.
There you
when
go.
When it went down, I said, thank you for obstacles. Yeah, thank you for obstacles, because I'm going to keep practicing. It doesn't matter. I was just about to tune in on my iPhone, on the phone, and back it up. So everything we can work with, we can take on the path, whatever our path is, whether we consider ourselves Buddhist or Christian or Jewish or just good human beings. Every moment, it's our own innate wisdom that we can work with. So let's keep that very crystal clear, because what stops us from recognizing that is fear, is the doubting, the one that doubts. That's the ego. That's the developed habit that has responded to when people have been mean to us, or when we've disappointed our own selves, when we feel like we've made bad decisions, we've created habits that we know don't benefit us, but we can't stop them. And then a judging ego comes in. So these are things that create clouds and block the pure nature of the true awareness of the sky of our mind, the sky that's beginningless and endless, the space that's pure. Nothing can make space impure. Atom bombs can go off in space, and rockets can fly through space, and lots of satellite things can fly around, but space by its own nature is not made impure by all of that. And this metaphor in Buddhist tradition is that our mind is like space. Our mind has a lot of garbage in it. It's true. There's a lot of garbage floating around in the ethers these days, but it doesn't really make our mind impure. It's when we put our mind towards the garbage and we forget about the purity that our mind gets confused, and that becomes clouded. And that's when we start to doubt ourselves. That's when we don't have trust in our innate goodness. That's when we can't connect and plug into that purity, that primordial awareness. But the good news is it's very temporary. We can change that. We can remove the junk. We can get rid of those clouds. We can remember the pure golden nature of the Buddha mind. Our Buddha nature is innate to everything that's alive. Again, if the Buddha nature vocabulary doesn't really resonate for you, you can think of many things that are just about pure goodness, pure light, pure consciousness. So I'm going to try this little screen share just to show a short video that kind of gives a good. Can you turn that on your side, Janet? Because I think it's just the clicking of the button down below. And then I'm going to see if I can just bring it up from my side without losing everyone. Okay, so I want to go to my desktop. Hang with me for a minute. This is the first time I'm trying it, but I think it will be good. Let's move that. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, there, a little light helps. Okay, so I'm going to start this and see if we can play this. Okay, you can see that?
If you've ever been to Thailand, you may have visited the temple of the Golden Buddha. Millions of people from around the world visit this temple every year. So why is this Golden Buddha statue so popular? Well, there are three things. One, it's the world's largest statue of the Buddha made of pure gold, not gilded, but pure gold. Every ounce of it is pure gold. Two, it has an amazing story behind it. You'll love the story when you hear it. Three, it has a life-changing message. When you get the message, you won't be the same person again. So, which one do you want to hear first? The message or the story? The story, you say? Okay, let's hear the story. On a cold morning in the year 1955, an old monk cleaned the temple where he lived and sat down to pray. Inside the temple, there was a huge statue of the Buddha. It was made of clay. As the monk sat at the feet of the clay Buddha and began praying, some government officials came and knocked at the temple door. This temple is going to be demolished. We'll be moving this statue to another part of the city. You can pray there, they said. The monk was stunned. He had been praying in this temple for as long as he remembered. It was the only home he knew. As far as he could tell, this temple had existed for centuries, and it was going to be demolished all of a sudden? But why? The officials explained that a new national highway was going to be constructed, and it was going to go right through this temple. So, a crane was brought, and the statue was lifted from there and relocated to another part of the city. In the process, the statue was slightly damaged, and there were cracks here and there. It broke the old monk's heart. He couldn't sleep that night. With a torch in his hand and tears in his eyes, he began inspecting the statue. It was sparkling at every crack in the statue. It was the most mysterious thing he had ever seen in all his life. Curiosity got the better of him, and he started chiseling at the cracks. As he did so, bits and pieces of the statue started falling off, and then large chunks came off rapidly. In a few moments, the old clay statue was no more there. In its place was a most magnificent golden statue, glittering in all its glory. The old monk couldn't believe his eyes, and he sobbed like a child with joy and amazement. The next morning, the whole city gathered to see this imposing statue of pure gold. How did this transformation happen? They wondered. Soon, the experts began to study the mystery and came up with an answer. The statue was not really a clay statue after all. It had always been a golden statue for hundreds of years. Then, sometime in the 18th century, the Burmese invaders attacked Thailand. They massacred the people and looted the gold. But the monks of this particular temple thought of a brilliant idea to protect the golden statue of the Buddha. Before the invaders arrived, the monks plastered the statue with rocks and clay. When the invaders saw this statue of clay, they ignored it because it was of no value to them. Decades passed, then centuries. Generations of people came and went. A time came when there was no one who could tell the secret of the golden Buddha. So, the clay Buddha was all that the people saw and knew until that fateful day in 1955. So that's the story behind the statue of the golden Buddha. Now, the message. I think the message is very simple and precise. There's a golden Buddha inside you. Yes, there's a golden Buddha hidden inside you that's pure, sparkling, and magnificent. But have you concealed it with a layer of fear, guilt, and doubt, perhaps to protect yourself from the outside world? Have you covered it with negative thinking and a poor self-image of yourself? Have you even forgotten that there is a golden Buddha inside you? It's waiting for you to release it from the layers of clay you have plastered on it over the years. It's begging you. It's begging you to release it from the captivity and the limitations you have imposed on it for so long. There's a golden Buddha inside you. It wants to shine in all its glory. It wants to brighten the world with its magnificence. Let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the mistakes you have made in the past. Let go of all the experiences that have conditioned you. Let go of the clay. Let go. Just let go. And shine. Shine with love, passion, and bliss. Let the golden Buddha shine. Some golden Buddhas live and die on earth as clay Buddhas, never knowing what brilliance they have in them. Some golden Buddhas shed their clay and reveal themselves when they undergo a terrible or shocking incident, just like in the story. Some golden Buddhas emerge from their clay cocoons and express their golden brilliance when they know the truth of who they are. And you know the truth, golden Buddha. Thank you for hearing me.
Isn't that fun? So one of my monk friends sent that one to me this week, and I thought that the man's voice was so beautiful, and that the message is so timely right now because of where we're at in our world collectively. There are strong forces right now that are pulling for power, and some are pulling with the forces of fear and doubt and ignorance and very earthly, worldly concerns of power. And there are many wonderful forces that are creating positivity and upward spiral towards our truth, our highest, as he says, golden Buddha nature. And really what it came down to when I was thinking about giving the talk this weekend that people asked about was really reclaiming our true nature. So our true nature that is amazing, that is a miracle, that is resilient, that is only of love and light, no matter what we choose to think of it. The truth is that we could put those layers and layers of clay for many lifetimes, but the true golden essence will never be tarnished by that clay. And so, you know, I wanted our meditation to follow from that video for each of us to just take a few moments to bring to mind what is the clay that we've put on our own nature, and where can we do a better job of shining our nature up, of chipping away at that clay and letting the golden nature reveal more strongly, and not just reveal to be seen, but to really be embodied, to really know and embrace the beauty of that and that truth of the essence, so that we can bring everything fully with a loving kindness and that comfort of deep knowing and wisdom, to be able to let the rest of our lives unfold without any fear, without any doubt, without any trepidation or anxiety, and to totally rest in the knowledge of that nature, to rest in that awareness. This would be the most precious practice that we could do, is to really not just embody and embrace it, but to deeply, deeply feel it. We can say things like embody and embrace, but things can be known by the intellectual mind, but when they're felt in the heart is when they're activated. So let's just each take a few minutes now, call to mind, where is your learning curve right now? What would be a habit? What would be an aspect of a little layer or a big layer of mud that's covering some part of your golden essence? And just find that. Let's just use the first step of our meditation to identify what we want to work with in the meditation. So if that isn't coming very apparently, you can ask a very skillful question like, what is holding me back the most from realizing my highest nature? And then we can bring in a very embodied feeling of what that feels like, being held back. Often it feels like a pressure or something constraining. It might even be in some part of your body that you can feel, some kind of a pain or tension. Might feel like something right on the top of your head pushing down. There are definitely coarse experiences, feelings that come that let us know what needs to be cleared. So just pay a little attention to that right now. When you bring to mind this pattern or this aspect that wants to be cleaned and shining, where does it manifest? Where do you become aware of it? And don't be afraid if there's a little embodied pain or pressure or something. Just let that come, because that's like a guide to let us know the next step, which is, where are we going to clear away? Where are we going to remove this caked on mud from in order to open up and let that essence shine through? So sometimes we really want to know what that location is embodied, where we can bring more energy to then remove that. And now bring to mind your highest spiritual guide. It could be your teacher, your root teacher. If you don't have a root teacher, it could be His Holiness the Dalai Lama, it could be Buddha, it could be Jesus Christ, it could be the goddess, mother goddess of the universe, whomever you feel represents the highest form of awakened light and love and pure energy. Bring that one to mind and envision that one sitting right over the crown of your head, right up here, and streaming from their heart center, streaming pure white light right down through the crown of your head. And as that beautiful clear light is coming down, every aspect of your physical being, all the cells, all the space between the cells is being washed and purified and opening up. Like a strong hose of pure energy that's just washing through. And you can visualize through the bottom of your feet all of the stuck energy, all of the caked on earth and mud just washing out through the bottom of the feet. And the light beginning to fill up every cell, every space of your physical form, shining from within, filling up, and then shining out through every pore of your being, radiating out pure white light and feeling very light and clean, clear, completely pure. And once you feel like you've visualized and cleaned out that stuck energy, removed it, and feel yourself full of the shining, pure light and energy, see it radiating out from the heart center as far as you can through every pore of your being, imagining it stretching out and connecting with all other highest enlightened energy everywhere around this planet, out into beyond the planet, into the universe, as far out as you can imagine it. extend it to every living thing, kind of like filling the whole network with clear light energy. In Buddhism, we call it the Dharmakaya. That's all the Dharmakaya is pure energy. It's the truth body of the Buddha. Everything is primordial purity by its nature. It could never not be pure. It's only our own unknowing that forgets. And now we know it's pure. So we're plugging in and feeding into that energy, and we're receiving. It's coming in and flowing out equally. You can use your breath on every in-breath. You're filling up from your highest connection, filling up with the energy. And as you breathe out, you're sending out the energy to everything else, giving it out. And after the out breath, just pause, and there's a natural stillness that arises, and just rest in that stillness. Just rest with awareness, held effortlessly. And when your body's ready, the next breath will come in, and you just bring in all that pure, fresh energy. And breathing deep down into your abdomen, every aspect of your body filling up and cleaning out with that beautiful, pure energy. And then as you breathe out, sending it with intention. And after the exhale, letting the body just rest very lightly, not holding the breath, but just noticing there's a natural pause after the out breath, just resting with awareness in that stillness. And now you can bring in a quality, an emotional intelligence of either loving kindness, something that you know that you would benefit from receiving for yourself. Maybe loving kindness, the immeasurable loving kindness to have happiness and all of the causes of happiness. It may be compassion, the immeasurable wish to be free of suffering, and the causes of suffering is immeasurable compassion. It may be empathetic joy, this connection with bliss without sorrow. It may be just more equanimity, giving up the judging mind, the mind that sometimes clings and sometimes pushes away, the mind that sometimes feels lustful, sometimes hateful. That's the mind of immeasurable equanimity. So try to see which of those four immeasurables would be of most benefit to you right now to bring in and mix with this beautiful, pure energy. Which emotional intelligence would heal your mind stream the best just now? And then bring that one in. And first, bring it in and just give it to yourself. Just focus on cleaning out still that part that is going to shine, that will never let that muddy habit build up again. And so just first give this beautiful emotional intelligence just to your own heart and mind. Focus on receiving from your highest guide. And if it feels difficult to receive, that's okay. You just stay with it. There might be some little glitches where this is an old habit and it really isn't an easy emotional intelligence for us to receive, but just notice that and keep breathing in and out anyway. Don't give up on it. Be gentle, be compassionate, be patient, but keep going by practicing being very open, very pure in your intention to be open to receiving this emotional intelligence. You see, it gets a little bit easier the more patient and kind and soft we are with it. And now we can mix this acceptance, this embodiment of this emotional intelligence with the pure light energy that we were sending out before to the entire universe, and send out this intelligent wisdom as well that we've embodied now very conscientiously, very purely in our own heart essence, our own minds. We can mix this with the radiant light and send this emotional intelligence out immeasurably to every living being, every life form, every conscious life form, that they might receive and benefit the blessing of this embodied intelligence, emotional intelligence, with a pure wish and a pure intention. And now we'll receive from the entire awakened Buddhaverses, universes, all the highest awakened guides. We can receive back all of the loving kindness, compassion, sorrowless bliss with equanimity. We receive everything back into our heart center, into our body, our speech and our mind, so that our glowing nature becomes very apparent, and receiving it all back, we can embody and carry it forward without even a word. The shining quality will touch our mind stream, bringing us these four immeasurable: happiness, loving kindness, compassion, joyful empathy, and equanimity for everybody. No one will have to earn it. No one will be left out of it. It will just freely flow to everything and everyone without effort. So if you are able to bring some of the meditation into the head, try to bring it down further into the throat. And from the throat into the heart. And from the heart into the navel. And from the navel down even lower into your root chakra, kind of at the base of your spine. You might feel a kind of a warmth in those parts. Try to really bring this fully embodied energy deep, deep, deep into the body. As Jetsuma likes to say, dropping from the head, we have to bring it down deeply into the heart, and then even more deeply down into the abdomen. But I like to follow in my own meditations, bringing it from the crown, the head into the throat, and from the throat into the heart, and you can use the breath, from the crown, you can bring on the in breath down to the throat, and then on the out breath, let it settle in the throat. On the next in breath, bring it from the throat into the heart. And on the out breath, let it settle, a nice warm feeling in the heart. And on the next in breath, bring it to the navel. And as you breathe in, really feel your abdomen expanding so that you're breathing deeply from your whole body. So you should feel your belly kind of expand out so that you're breathing from down low. And as you breathe out, the belly sinks in so that as you exhale, you're then holding the beautiful energy at the navel. And then on the next in-breath, when it's naturally arising, bring to the tailbone, to the chakra that's at the tailbone. Bring all the energy really down low so that you're rooting. That's your root chakra. You're rooting into this beautiful energy. Like plugging in to the source. And as you breathe out, then you're just resting your awareness at the root in a very spacious, light, warm wonderful awareness. And now we'll reverse the order, and from the root on the next in-breath, we'll bring up to the navel. And from the navel up to the heart. And from the heart up to the throat. And from the throat again up to the crown of the head. And then we can imagine kind of enfolding this energy with what's called the egg of light, so that we can maintain a very sacred space, both internally and externally around us, so that we keep this pure, beautiful, clean, clear energy by just visualizing a kind of very light shell of a circle, like an oval shape, that's around our aura of our physical body. Can imagine that. That's just maintaining this very clean, clear, pure energy, so that when you're moving throughout the day, you don't have to think about, bad vibes, or thinking people are looking at you funny, or sound that might comes and disturbs. No, this egg of light will keep you in your clean, clear space. You'll keep using your in and out breath to maintain and come back with some awareness to plenify and do this practice as much as you remember throughout the day, breathing in the pure light, breathing out the pure light, and giving out all the beautiful energy as only pure light from within a space that's being maintained with pure awareness. So sometimes this egg of light is a good way to just now set that intention and then move from that space. So let's thank our guides and all the sacred ones that have come to bring blessings, and we'll slowly at our own pace come out of this meditation. And there's a little bit of time for any questions, any comments. So do you have any comments or any questions or any sharing that you'd like to give, then this would be a good time to
Thank you,
unmute.
Venerable, for that session. My question is, how do I maintain that sense of equanimity through the day? I do get into the judging mode from time to time, right? There are good days and there are bad days. And how do I stop myself from that judging myself and others?
Good, that's a great question, Smita. The first part is the awareness that you know that you have the habit. That's more than half of the battle, right? That you know that that mind comes into action. So that's great that you're already aware. Now, when it comes up, first of all, remind yourself, does it feel good? No, you don't like it. So just try to pause. Don't try to do anything with it. Just allow it at first. Don't try to push it away. Recognizing is the first step. So we have to recognize when that critic, that's just an inner critic. That's just the ego. That one that judges like, don't like, good, bad, right, wrong, that's just the ego. And one thing Jetsuma likes to say is the ego is just happy to be miserable. And when we get into the judging mode, we make ourselves miserable. We don't feel good. And whether it's about ourselves or about somebody else, it's not a happy mode of mind, right? So we can start to laugh a little bit about it. We can start to take it as like, oh, well, here I go again, right? What's going on? So we don't have to take it so seriously, because if we take it too seriously, we're feeding it again. If we go, oh, that's bad. Why am I like that? Why don't I know better? I'm already aware. That just gives it more energy. It says, oh, thank you. Yes, yes, feed me, feed me. So don't worry about judging that too. It's only arising because we're judging. So don't judge that too. Let it come up and go, oh yeah, okay, now I know I see what you're doing. I'm on to you. I'm calling you out. Come on, let me look at you. Come on out. I'm going to sit here with you. And then you're starting to take energy away from it. And just, let it come out and say, who is it that's judging? Who is it that needs to be better? It's the ego, right? Who needs to know better, who thinks there's a critique to make. This was Buddha's big insight, which is it's just a habit. It's just a story we're telling ourselves, but it doesn't really exist anywhere. Just because we believe in it or we have that habit doesn't make it real. So you bring it out and say, all right, I see you now. You're in the light. I'm understanding that your nature doesn't exist anywhere until I give it life, right? Until I give it the life of the judgment. And that starts to bring the equanimity. Of course, with equanimity, we're unplugging from ignorance. So often when we have a habit, it's because there's a little shadow side that everybody has. In Jungian terms, Jung would call that a shadow. In Buddhism, we just say ignorance, marigpa, not knowing. So now in a meditation like what we just did, there's knowing, there's conscious inviting this pattern to come and say, look, I'm okay with seeing you. I just don't want to keep repeating you. I'm okay with trying to understand you, but I'm not okay with continuing this relationship. We're breaking up, right? We're going to break up with that pattern. So with equanimity, we know right away because it's embodied, right? Because we push away from some situations, we gravitate towards some. We know our habits around our own judging. So when it comes, that one's pretty easy to catch. And that's when we can just say, okay, who is it that's judging? Let me breathe in and just be spacious here. Let me just sit with this for a minute. You just take a minute. Let the feeling come because it will dissipate. It will start to lose its energy. The more you allow it to come and be seen, the more you take the energy away from it. Does that make sense? And whether it's to yourself or to a politician or to a Bollywood star, to your children, to your partner, it doesn't matter, your pet. We judge many things, right? But the more we can just give, allowing. One of my favorite mantras that Jetsuma says, she just says, oh, never mind. My mind wants to judge something. She goes, oh, Gatsel, never mind. I said, I love it. That's my favorite mantra now, because it brings you back into equanimity. We can make such big mountains out of molehills. But when we start to say, never mind, it already starts to settle into equanimity. It's already everything that can happen, that can arise. It's already okay. It doesn't need a judgment. It's in a state of just being. It's just a matter of fact that our mind likes to label, our mind likes to judge, likes to critique, but it doesn't change the nature of equanimity. Equanimity means everything is already okay. Everything is by its nature, even things that we label, bad, it's just natural occurrences. And if we think they're bad, maybe it's because somebody else is suffering under ignorance, under their own attachments, under their own hatred. But that still doesn't have to make it bad for us to judge. We can then have compassion. So start with yourself, okay? Start with yourself and just notice that pattern for yourself. Because once we can start with ourselves, we don't even have to worry about it not coming up with others. It will automatically start to dissipate. Does that make sense? So, maybe try to take this as your practice just for this week, that this will be your main practice, that, okay, just for today, every time I'm going to come, and when it comes up, I'm taking a breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in the wisdom, the intelligence, the emotional intelligence of equanimity, and that's what you focus on, right? Just like me, all beings want happiness, want freedom from suffering. Just like me, I feel good when I take it in. I'm going to maintain that equanimity. That helps break the kind of critical mind. Because it's true, everybody does just want happiness the same way we do. And once we really deeply, deeply understand that, it makes our mind and our heart so full of love and kindness and compassion and wisdom. We understand, we're not here to judge anybody. Everyone's doing their very best. And when we can do better, we will do better. As the great Maya Angelou said, at the time I did the best I could. And when I learned better, I did better. And that's what it is, right? That's what it is. Other
Thank you,
comments?
Venerable.
My pleasure. Any other comments or questions that we have a few minutes. I mean, my question for you is, could you feel the embodied feeling of that meditation? Could you feel the difference between bringing it from the head into the throat? Like that's where our speech is a vibration. It's so important to use good speech in our heart, and then down into our navel, into our root, that we really want the whole body to be kind of bathed and saturated, really saturated with beautiful emotional intelligence and with light, with knowing that is our true nature. And so bringing that really not just into our awareness of intellect, but really deeply felt. So wonderful. Okay, well, then I suppose we're almost up to our final. This is only an hour meeting, but I'm so glad that we have our main moment and that we have our Indian friends. And I don't know who these lovely people in the light. Where are you? Where are you based? Are you in India or Nepal, or where are you? Can you say hi?
Hello. Yes, we are from India.
Wonderful.
India, from Mumbai.
Mumbai, okay. Much love to Mumbai. Stay very safe, okay? It's very safe. Mumbai and Prenika and Delhi now is very, very bad situation, worse than Mumbai, but we have to be very
Mumbai
patient.
also.
Yes, very patient right now. Very quiet, good time to practice. Not going out, just taking it. And by next year, if we can do it nicely now, next year will be behind us. But we have to really have a lot of strength right now. So thank you for joining, sisters. Lovely. Nice to have
Thank you
our.
for the session. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Venerable.
So I'm just going to dedicate our merits because we want everybody to feel this blessing and this happiness. So let's give away all of our merits. We'll say it like this. First, we say a prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, his long life prayer. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. And for my root teacher and some of our root teacher, His Eminence Kensor Rinpoche, Lobsang Seten. In particular, I pray for the one who knows all the scriptures with the power of his intelligence to have a long life through the solid strength of his mind and his mastery of life in order to benefit the teachings and all beings through his good wholehearted resolve. Through this virtue, may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious Supreme Bodhi Mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. May we all attain Buddhahood for the benefit of every sentient being. And if you know anyone in particular that you'd like to dedicate your practice to this evening, you can call that person to mind and really pray for their highest loving happiness, peace of mind, compassion, equanimity, sorrowless bliss. Give away all of your merits just by bringing that person or those people to mind. I want to say in particular to the people, yes, here in India and the US for the COVID, but especially to our dear brothers and sisters in Myanmar. I'm really, really thinking of them. They're in a horrible situation there. So I'm sending out a very intentional remembrance to them that they may be safe and free of that situation very soon. Okay, my dear, so I'll just remind people that still we have, at the end of this month, we have Medicine Buddha Puja. Tomorrow I have another guided meditation online at 5:30 India time. And I guess that makes it 8 o'clock in the morning Maine time for another group that requested. And we're practicing Tonglen tomorrow. So the meditation of giving and taking, a little bit like what we did today, but a little bit different. So if anyone wants to join tomorrow, please be welcomed. And was there something else I was supposed to say, Janet? Oh, we have, for people in Maine, we have a survey that we're going to send out about a project that we're doing, trying to create an eco-Dharma center. And if people in India want to be on our main mailing list, you're welcome to sign up, because it's also a little bit about doing these online sessions. So we welcome your feedback. If you're interested, please go to from my Facebook page, you can find Tashi Gatsel. I think the sisters from Mumbai found from Facebook maybe. You can go to our Tashi Gatsel Center and sign up, and you get on the mailing list, and you're always welcome to share with your friends to come to these sessions. And we're interested, if you sign on the mailing list, and you can tell us more what you'd like to see from these online sessions. We can make them to your benefit. That's our wish. So have a lovely evening for you in India and a lovely day for you in the US, and see you soon.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Venerable.